Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Happy to have you all live with us once again. So everybody who for another Shabbat. I apologize for the slight delay. We had a very welcome surprise guest, at least for me. I had the privilege of saying hi to Matia's mother, Doña Raisa, who's a Tov woman, and we were just engaging with her. And gotta give our esteemed guests some time, and all the things that come with that, being good hosts. So it was a blessing to see her on the Shabbat, and obviously partaking with her a little bit in conversation. Today's teaching is labeled peace, or shalom. As we're going through, I guess you can call this series of building the perfect or complete Torah follower. I've been describing different characters. I've talked about courage. I've spoken about love. I've talked about being a neighbor. And in our Bible study series, I've talked about conflict management. I'm trying to build out a character. And instead of hitting you all with one teaching, I want to give you guys different components, because I believe every character, as I'm going through these series, is a talent. Not one man or woman is going to have all those talents. But if you have one of the said talents as you go through the building, it's going to give people the ability to hone in on it and perfect their talent or talents. And then obviously use that for the people, Kol Yisrael. So today is peace. I want to start off by saying something that Monty wanted me to emphasize, which is peace is not something you can sell. And in the same vein, peace is not something you can buy. Peace is the outcome of things. Peace is the exercise of things. Peace is the reward for how you deal with things. And I'm going to demonstrate that through the verses that I have here today for y'all. So we're going to be reading the scripts a lot today, but
let's do a couple of praise before we start.
Okay, go ahead. Which one you want to start off? So people know.
Page 3.
No, natural.
Yom Shabbat, the blowing of the twin silver trumpets.
Okay. Yom Shabbat. I think I have to stand for this one. And face east for those who are watching live.
וביום שמחתכם, ובמועדיכם, ובראשי קדשכם, וכתתם בחצוצרות על יתכם, ועל זבחי שמכם, והיו לכם לזיכרון לפני אלוהיכם. אני יהוא אלוהיכם.
Also in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and in the beginning of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim.
Baruch atah Yahuwah, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו על תקיעת החצוצרות. Amen. B'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe,
who has sanctified us with his commandments and has commanded us regarding the blowing of the twin silver trumpets. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Amen.
Which one will we go?
Continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Yahuwah sefatai tivtach, upi agita hilatecha. B'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Yahuwah, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Yahuwah ratzon, emrei pi v'hegion, lebi lefanecha. Yahuwah zori v'goali. B'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
May the expressions of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Amen. Baruch atah Yahuwah,
Baruch Shemo,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
Amen.
asher קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו, ורצבנו בשבת קדשו, באהבה וברצון חינכי לנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילת מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קדשך באהבה ורצון הלכתנו. ברוך אתה יהוה מקדש השבת.
Bishop
Yahushua
Yahushua
HaMashiach.
Amen. Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, the King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and taken delight in us. With love and favor, he gave us the set-apart Shabbat as a heritage, a remembrance of the works of creation. For it is the beginning of our sacred Moedim, a memorial of the exodus from Mitzrayim. For you have chosen us, and you have sanctified us from all the nations, and you gave us your set-apart Shabbat with love and favor as a heritage. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, who sanctifies the Shabbat. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Page 8, Kedushat Hashem Yahuwah, the sanctification of the name of Yahuwah. Amen. אתה קדוש ושמחה קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלה, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה יהוה, האל הקדוש.
You are set apart, and your name is set apart, and set apart ones praise you every day forever. For you are Yahuwah, the great and set apart King.
Page 6, Birchat HaMashiach, the blessing of the Messiah.
Thank you, sir.
What's the melody on it? Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu derech hayahusha b'Mashiach Yahusha. Amen. B'Shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation in Mashiach Yahusha. Amen.
Bottom of page 8. Yes. Kedushat Hayom, sanctification of the day. Amen. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu, Ratzeinu benuchatenu, Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, Betzamchenu b'toratecha, Sabenu mituvecha, Besamchenu b'yahushatecha, V'taher lebeinu, V'taher lebeinu, V'taher lebeinu lehavtecha be'emet, V'taher lebeinu, V'taher lebeinu, V'taher lebeinu lehavtecha be'emet. V'chanchi lanu Yahuwah Eloheinu be'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kadshecha, V'hayu v'yanachnu ba'Yisrael Mekadshe Shamecha. Baruch atah Yahuwah Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Mekadesh HaShabbat, 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 Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Our Elohim, Elohim of our fathers, may you be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us in your commandments, and grant us our portion in your Torah. Satisfy us from your toldness, and make us rejoice in your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In love and favor, Yahuwah Elohim, grant us your set-apart Shabbat as a heritage, and may Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest therein. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, who sanctifies the eternal biblical Shabbat.
Bottom of page 6, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Vayed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yahushua Yahusha HaMashiach is Yahuwah. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Yahusha HaMashiach is Yahuwah. Amen. ואהבת את יהוה אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישריך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day to be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hands, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. B'Shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. Everybody can take their seats.
Thank you.
Please be seated. Hopefully we're facing the east the entire time. Amen.
Jordan says Shabbat Shalom Mishpacha, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah for another beautiful set of Parshat.
Shalom Shabbat. Ma'ak Yarden. Missing you today.
Many prayers for your daughter.
Refuah Selema. Refuah Selema.
So, thank you for leading us in worship. In prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Today's teaching, like I said earlier, before the prayer session, was called Peace or Shalom. And we're going to open up in the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33.
Juan 16.
See. Or Yohanan, 16:33.
These things I have spoken to you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Start again. These things have I spoken to you, that in me you might have shalom. In the olam hazeh, present world, you shall have tribulation. But be of tall courage. I have overcome and conquered the olam hazeh, the present world.
So here we have Yahushua speaking. And he's letting you know you're going to come across trials and tribulations.
Indeed you are.
It's going to happen. It's not if, it's not, it might, it is going to happen. But he said, be at peace because I already overcame the world that's giving you these issues. So, straight from the creator of the universe, he's already establishing that there's nothing on this earth that you can't be at peace with. Because if you believe in him, you know that he's already overcome it for you. But let's say I'm reaching here. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16.
Chapter
3:16.
Three what?
16.
All right. Now, the Eloah of Shalom himself give you shalom always by all means. Yahuwah be with you all.
So, the Aloha of Shalom, who we know, once again, as we established earlier, is the same Aloha that overcame the world.
Indeed.
So, if he overcame the world, and he's telling you, now we're reading 2 Thessalonians 3:16, to go and be in peace, is being peaceful now a commandment or a suggestion?
Looks like it's a commandment to me.
Because we know anything that comes out of the words of the mouth of Yahuwah is an ordinance, a hook, or a command. Now, I know many people ascribe and Moshe didn't write it down as not a commandment. Fine, this is an ordinance then. And all ordinances are given the same priority and same level of respect as a commandment, as if it was written by Moshe. So, be peaceful is not a suggestion. But let's say, oh, I don't know how to be peaceful. I don't know how to be in shalom. I don't know what that looks like. Okay, let's see where we're going with that. The book of Yeshayahu or Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 3. And again, the name of the teaching, 26:3. And again, the name of this teaching is called Peace.
Yeshayahu 26:3. You will keep him in perfect shalom, whose mind is fixed on you because he trusts you. Trust in Yahuwah, leolam va'ed, for in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. I had to read the next one. Sorry.
It's completely fine. That was 3 and 4 he read. But it illustrates the point I'm trying to make. How do you get to this peace? How do you establish this peace? Having trust in Yahuwah. Because Yahuwah is the same one that is telling you to be in peace in the 2 verses we just finished reading, 2 Thessalonians 3:16 and John 16:33. And he's saying, trust in me and be at peace because I have overcome the world. So he's giving you the words and he's walked the walk. He's done it. So now his words and his actions are one and the same. So how do you start the journey of being in shalom? Trust in Yahuwah. Have perfect shalom from your trust in Yahuwah. But let's keep reading. The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 9. So we've gone from peace being an ordinance, so something you have to have, and now how we try to establish said peace, starting with trusting in Yahuwah. Now let's read Matthew 5:9.
Matthew 5:9.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are the shalom makers,
The peacemakers.
for they shall be called B'nai Yahuwah, the children of Yahuwah.
So, again, how do I get to peace? Well, first we have to trust in Yahuwah, as we read in Isaiah. But now, if you want peace, you have to be the source of the peace you're looking for, because nothing is given for free. So, the shalom you desire is the shalom you have to make. And, as we see, once you make your way the way of a peacemaker, because this is not a suggestion, this is an ordinance, you will be now called B'nai Yahuwah, excuse me. So, what am I saying with this? Am I saying that you're not a peacemaker, you can't call yourself a child of the Most High? Yes. Because being at peace is a command. And if you break a commandment, you're not doing the things of Yahuwah. Sounds very, very, very rude, but it's the truth. And these 4 verses I just read, I just established what it looks like, what you have to do to get it, and why it's a command. Now, I'm going to keep emphasizing from this point forward, why is it so important to be at peace and be someone that has peace? 2 different things. Being at peace and having peace. One's a physical matter and one's a spiritual matter. And I'm going to show you the difference. Let's go to Philippians. We're gonna read 2 verses in chapter 4. So first we're gonna read 4:6 of Philippians.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by tefillah, prayer, and supplication with hodu, thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to Yahuwah.
So I'm using this as an establishing point. Be anxious. If you're anxious, there's no way you're at peace. You're uneasy. You're not stable. You lack the ability to be a peacemaker, and you lack the ability to maintain the command of being in perfect trust of Yahuwah. Because if you're uneasy, that means you're not sure. If you're unsure, that means you have doubt. And if you have doubt, there's no way you can be 100% committed to your path. That's how important peace is in the flesh. Now, let's read that same chapter, verse 9.
Philipsia 4:9. Those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do. And the Eloah of Shalom shall be with you.
So the things you saw Yahushua do, say, and demonstrate, teach. Do it. And the peace that we read about in Matthew will be granted to you. So what are the things that Yahushua said, taught, and did? Now we go back to the law, Torah, and the fulfillment of, or as I've been trying to tell you guys, the application of the Torah. He provided what it looked like. And one of the key components of the application of the law is being at peace and being able to maintain peace with your brothers, your sisters, yourself, and obviously the Most High. Because this is not just a suggestion. This is not just peace is a talent. Quite the opposite. This is a command the same way we're supposed to guard the Shabbat. Because, as I will read later on, you can't come into the Shabbat without being at peace. So you can't even keep the least of the moeds without mastering peace. So if you can't keep Shabbat, that means you can't communicate, because that's when the Eastern Gate is open for us to communicate. Your prayers are not being heard if you have anxiety or if you're not at peace. Why? Because you have temporarily blocked the avenue of communication. Both in the flesh, talking to your brothers and sisters, if you're in strife, you can't talk. And with Yahuwah, because if you can't love the man that you can see, how can you love the man you cannot see? So peace is both a way of being in this circumstance and a command. It's a very rare dual virtue thing, kind of like a hava. But again, let's say I'm overreacting. Romans, Romia, 12:18.
Omiyah 12:18.
Yes, sir.
If it is possible on your part, live in shalom with all men.
So now we're expanding this. Obviously, there are enemies of the world. There's the evil one. There's you, your own Hatan. And then there's also the people that want nothing to do with Yahuwah. So, like he says, on your part, if possible. So, obviously, he's aware that there will be opportunities for this not to fall through. But if at all possible, be at peace. Why? Because Paul is telling you that you have to have a good report. Part of that good report as a believer is being at peace. Because if you are known to be a brawler or a drunkard that fights all the time, as we read in Proverbs, or someone who causes strife 24/7, what is the report that you're bringing to the people of Yahuwah? That Yahuwah is an angry God. That Yahuwah is someone that cannot be at ease. He is not the Elohim of peace, as we keep reading the Elohim of peace. You're not bringing shame to yourself because your conduct is poor and you're making a mockery of the name. So again, I'm telling you this as a commandment. Be at peace. Be a peacemaker so that you can be a B'nai of Yahuwah. Be a peacemaker so that you can have complete trust in Elohim. Be a peacemaker so that you can remove the things that will cause you to be uneasy. Because you will see trials and tribulations, as we started off this teaching with. You will see it. But the world will not overcome you. It will not overcome you if you remain at peace. Because Yahushua already did that job for us. We just have to follow his footsteps and do what he taught us, what he showed us, and what he demonstrated. But let's continue. Colossians 3:15. Colossians. Chapter 3, verse 15. Yes, sir.
And let the shalom of the Mashiach rule in your levavot, hearts, to which also you are called besar echad, one body.
So let the peace of Moshiach be with. Read that first part again for me.
Let the shalom of Mashiach rule in your levavot.
So in your hearts, let the peace of Moshiach be with you. Because we're all called to the same body.
To which you are called in one body.
So the peace that I'm referring to does not just apply to yourself. Like I said, there's two different types of peace. There's the one with the flesh and there's one with the Ruach. This is of the Ruach. Because we're a spiritual body. We're not physically connected to each other. But we are in Ruach. We are a representative of the collective Kol Yisrael. The two houses under, obviously, Beit Yaakov. So, with that, we have to maintain and capture the shalom of the Mashiach. Because we know he didn't come when he came the first time to establish peace. We know this. But he did demonstrate it so that we know what it will look like when he does come the second time, so he can finish the job he started. We have to maintain that, because without that shalom, we cannot be a body. We cannot be connected. I cannot respect you as the foot, and he can't respect me as the hand, because we're always in strife if we lack peace. He can't respect me as the foot if as me, the hand, am always putting stumbling blocks in front of him when he walks, because I'm not keeping Torah, or I'm causing him not to keep Torah. He can't respect me as the foot if I, the hand, am feeding him things that are not causing him to be at peace. So if I'm robbing his shalom,
He's giving me tight shoes.
exactly. He a size 10, I'm giving him size 5 shoes.
Damn.
But that's what happens in this walk. We have people that lead us astray. We have people that mistreat us. We have people that feed us bad manna and then get upset at the results of these actions. Everyone is, as we read in the Be Strong conversation, or Be Courageous, excuse me. Everyone's responsible for your actions. However, my actions directly interfere with your peace. If I am robbing your shalom, I am robbing your ability to be a son or daughter of Yehovah. Therefore, it is our responsibility to each other to, one, establish peace internally, but establish peace with each other, so that we can both serve the Most High in the ways that Moshiach demonstrated when he was here with us and when he left us with the accounts and the scrolls of the New Testament, or the renewed covenant. Why? Because it is not a suggestion. Being at peace and maintaining shalom is a commandment. The same way you should not kill. The same way you should not covet your wife. The same way, your brother's wife. The same way you should not, what's another one that's on the other side?
On that specific topic.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. Another one where it's directly involved in the other brother. I'm drawing a blank. There's the verses that said, do not kill, do not cover your brother's wife. Those are the ones directly towards your brother. I just forget. My brain's going mush. I apologize. But the right tablet, right side of the tablets, commandments 6 through 10. All the ones that deal directly with a brother. Shalom is just as important as those, because if you're lacking shalom, you will kill your brother. If you're lacking shalom, or that's not murder, excuse me. You will murder your brother. You will steal. You will cover. You will do all those things. Because if you're lacking shalom, you're lacking the ability to keep Torah. Therefore, lawlessness will enter your midst. Lawlessness will allow you to perpetuate a state of uneasiness, a state that does not demonstrate what was demonstrated to us by the Moshiach when he was with us, and obviously what he left behind as a learning for us to apply. But let's continue.
Last precept of verse 15.
Go ahead.
And be full of hodu, thanksgiving.
No,
Iniquity.
Well, technically yes, but lack of shalom equals lawlessness. It also will lead to iniquity, but that's a different conversation. Hebrews is the next book, 12:14.
Ivrim, chapter 12, verse 14.
Mhm.
Follow shalom with all men.
Pause. Follow shalom. Follow is an active thing. It's not a passive thing. Continue.
And kedusha, set apartness.
So again, like I said, I'm establishing the relation of peace to the other things you have to do. So peace and set apartness go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly.
Can't have one without the other.
Continue.
Without which no man shall see Yahuwah.
So without set apartness and without peace, you cannot see Yahuwah. So again, peace is not a suggestion. It's not a talent. It is a command. Why? Because without it, you won't be called the sons of Yahuwah or the daughters, and you won't be able to see the man. But we know we can't see the Heavenly Father, meaning that without peace, you can't see Yahusha. That is the greatest offense. Because if we cannot see the Son, that is our intermediary figure and intercedes for us and the person who gave us the ultimate sacrifice and covering, where's our salvation then? You are no different than the woman who puts off her covering of her husband. We are the rebellious wife that got kicked out of Israel. We were the wife that Yahuwah had to give a get. Why? Because we could not keep shalom. Why? Because we were too busy being lawless. We were too busy not demonstrating the things that were taught to us by Moshe at that point. That's how important peace is in keeping, maintaining, and continuously following. Why? Because it is the foundation block upon which all other things are built upon. Peace, or shalom, like I said, is a dual virtue. It's a character trait, because we know you can be a peacemaker or keeper, but it is also, like ahava, an active, outward manifestation of our obedience to the law, which is our obedience to Yahushua, because he is the word, and the word is the law. That's how big of a building block peace is. So if you had a little pyramid, as they say, a little food pyramid, you have ahava as the left side, you have peace in the middle, and then you have tov, courage, on the right. Without those things, forget about being a believer. You won't make it. Everything else you build upon that doesn't have those three at the bottom, you're doing it as the person who built a house on the sand, not the tov rock. So you ask, how do you have a good relationship? Be at peace. Be of good courage. Have ahava. How do I have a good relationship with those that are not my wife or husband? Be at peace. Have ahava. Be of tov courage. How do I make sure that my kids keep the walk? Be at peace. Have ahava. And be of tov courage. How do I establish a good rapport with the believer and the non-believer? Establishing peace. Establishing ahava. And being of tov courage. Having the strength of your conviction. So they see that you truly are an ambassador of the word and not someone who conforms to the world. It's very simple when I lay it out in terms like that. It's the application is where we fall short. So I'm telling you, be at peace and apply yourself. I'm telling you, have strength and apply yourself. I'm telling you, have the ability to deal with conflict. Why? Because all these little things is what's going to combine themselves to make one beautiful thing. And it's going to be a big thing. And that is your salvation. That's all it is. I haven't scratched what it is to be perfect. I'm just trying to get you saved. Why? Because once I can convince you that you can be someone worth Yahusha's covering, I can convince you now to be complete. I can convince you to be someone that thinks, yes, I can do the things that Yahuwah has laid out for me with the example of Yahusha. Starting with Matthew all the way to his to Revelation. I can do those things. And at the same time, I can maintain the law that Moshe laid down and the prophets, both the major and the minor, perpetuated from Joshua all the way to Malachi. You can do that. But I have to convince you, because I know humans are creatures of habit. So I have to habitually convince you of these things. But I know we can do it. We have that. Nothing to do with talent. It's all about application and being at peace. Romans chapter 8, verse 6.
Romans 8:6.
Thank you.
For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is Chaim veShalom, life and peace.
So, the flesh has already been judged to die. So you're not going to find peace and life in it. So, the logical conclusion is this. If you're serving what you believe to be good, and it's not through Torah, you won't find peace and life there. It's that simple. Or, if I have to make it more abundantly clear, if it lacks the ability to esteem or edify either the Yahuwah or brother or sister in this walk, it's not worth doing. Why? Because it's not going to perpetuate peace. It's not going to perpetuate love. It's not going to perpetuate courage. It's not going to do it. Because the flesh only wants what it wants, not what we need. That's the difference between wants and needs. You always have want. Israel has always wanted something. They wanted kings. They wanted meat. They wanted their own Elohims of metal and wood. But what do they really need? Mana, the consulship, Yehovah, quail. Well, quail they ain't even get. But our wants always outnumber our needs. But all our wants lead us to destruction. All our wants lead us to lack of shalom. All our wants lead us down a path led by the flesh. And I'm going to throw something in there so that you understand how deep this deception goes. And it's self-deception. Your emotions are an extension of your wants. So, if you want to be at peace, first place to start is your emotions. First place to establish peace is with yourself, emotionally. Because through your emotions, you are led to do the things of your flesh. Oh, I feel like I want to do this. Where's that feeling coming from? Your emotions. Oh, I love this. Is it a Torah? No, so why do you love it? Because you're supposed to love what Yahuwah loves and hate what he hates. So why do you love it? Think about that. Deconstruct yourself sometimes. It's okay to have these things. I'm not saying if you want to buy a Bentley Continental and live in a mansion, go for it. But don't tell yourself that's what Yahuwah wants for you. Don't tell yourself that's what Yahuwah has for you. Because that's a lie. That's self-deception. That's your emotions talking. And if you keep listening to that and justifying it, you will find yourself in a place lacking Ahava, lacking peace, and you'll be a coward. And all three of those people, or that one person exhibiting all three of those character traits that I just mentioned, will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Nor will they be saved, because they will have put off the covering of Moshiach. You are no different than the Gentile. No different than the heathen that blasphemes and speaks ill of the host of hosts and his son. Very, 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 again, in layman terms, it's easy to apply, but I know the application is where we struggle daily. But it's okay. We're going to get there in peace and love. Let's jump to 1 Peter. We're going to read chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 9 through 11. This should be highlighted, in case you're following along.
Kefa Aleph 3, verse 9 to 11.
Yes, sir.
Not rendering evil for evil, nor railing for railing.
Boom. Pause. Evil for evil and railing for railing. I had to Google that phrase, railing for railing, because I didn't know what that meant. I thought that was like an old English term. Punishment for punishment. So, We all know evil for evil. If someone does low toll for you, your initial response shouldn't be, "Oh, let me get my get back." That should not be your initial response. That is a lack of peace. That is instability in your spirit. You need to check that. So that's self-evident. I'm not going to waste my time on that. But railing for railing is something that we do quite a lot. Holding grudges, bringing up past offenses to amplify current offenses. Double jeopardy is my favorite phrase for this. We are not supposed to be, "Oh, you messed up today just like you did last time." That's railing for railing. That's what that is. That is wrong. Why? Because you're removing peace from that situation. You're removing the ability to make peace. Because now the person has to fight against past him and you, and then current him and you, and has to make teshuvah for an action that he or she already made teshuvah for. So now, was not the sacrifice of Yahusha good enough the first time? Why does the sacrifice have to be recommitted a second time? Think about that. It's the same way when Yahuwah said, "I will remember their sin no more, and they will no longer be as red as scarlet, but will be as white as snow." Who are we to say, "Oh no, that red is in his ledger despite being white as snow"? That is a dual-minded person. That is someone who is exhibiting the higher than thou, because you're using that to leverage yourself against that person, because you are in your feelings. You are in your self-righteousness, and we know what self-righteousness is. I already said it when I did the teaching about being a toe of courage. If you're someone who knows what they have to stand for, you don't judge. You don't use unequal weights and measures. Your actual measures are those found in Torah. And it starts with establishing peace. Offenses will come. We already read that when we started the thing. That's tribulations. But you cannot start off a situation railing for railing, because there's no peace in that. There will never be peace in that, because the person can never outrun past offenses. That's why it's in the past. It is no longer something he or she can do anything about. So, if you want to be someone who wants peace, make peace. And starting with that is not doing railing for railing. And now I understand why the scripture writes it the way it does. It's a perfect translation. Because that's what we do.
But at the same time, don't think that it's a license to just sin, say sorry, and keep it pushing. No, that's not what we're talking about.
No.
You know, because a lot of people will tend to take advantage of that situation. You can't do that. You want to be at peace? Don't keep offending. Don't keep offending.
Correct.
Be in shalom. Be at peace. What does that mean? That doesn't mean go and offend your brother again.
Purposely.
No. It says be at peace.
Keeping what has been demonstrated and taught to you. But, continue. This gets deep.
On the contrary, brachot, blessings. Knowing that you are called to this, that you shall inherit the great bracha, blessing.
What is the great blessing? Eternal life. So you ask, how important is it to keep peace? It's a salvation matter. It is your life. It is a life or death question. So when you ask me, why do I have to maintain peace? I'm going to ask you, do you want to live? It's the same question. Because if you tell me no, okay, fine, die. Die. I mean, at least you know where you're going to die at. That's your hill. Die on it. I'm completely fine with that, because you as an adult have made your decision. I cannot convince you of anything. I'm not Yahuwah. I can only influence and encourage. But if you tell me I don't know how to make peace, but I want to make peace, you're choosing life. And there, as a disciple of Yahusha, I have to be able to do that for you. I have to be able to provide a pathway for you, because you're choosing life. You're choosing Torah. So I have to be there to bear your burdens. But if you choose death, there are people who are trying to live that I got to take care of. Continue.
Once you choose shalom, once you choose life, you have to do shalom.
you have to do life. You can't choose life and do shalom. You can't choose life and shalom and do death and strife. You understand what I'm saying? You have to put forth what you chose. How do you do it? By getting Tov counsel and then applying what you're learning. You don't listen to rebuttal. You listen to understand and apply. Once you apply, the emotional part of shalom will then come. You can't expect the emotional piece to come before the actions of peace, because the emotions are the byproduct of the action. It's just like love. Everybody wants to be in love. You want to be in love. No. Before you can find being excited or in love, you have to do the actions of love. What are the actions of love? Your husband loves to come home to a clean house and a nice cooked meal. Amen. Your wife loves that you know, when you get home, you take out the garbage, or you check the bathroom to see if it's good, or the garage if it's okay. She loves to come home and have flowers to see flowers in your hand. These are the actions of love. The more you put forth, the more you get out. It's an investment. And before you have the revenue, you have to invest. Mm-hmm. Amen? That goes with everything in life. You want a nice beautiful home, right, for your family, right?
That's
what you gotta do. You gotta lay the foundation, because you can't start a house from the second floor up. You gotta lay the foundation, and a very good foundation, so that when the storm comes, when the wind comes, it doesn't blow it away, because you didn't establish it on the sand. Amen. You established it on the Rosh Binah, the chief cornerstone, Yahushua HaMashiach, through his word, the Torah. Where we at?
I believe you finished reading 9.
Yes, verse 10. Mm-hmm. For he that will love Chaim, life, and see Tov Yamim, good days, let him refrain his tongue from Lashon Hara, the evil tongue.
So pause there. You're seeking life. Stop talking. Stop talking. You are killing yourself. Because harsh words, words of strife, evil speech is what takes away your peace, is what takes away your life as a consequence. When you're mad, don't talk. If you're in a bad mood, don't talk. I'm not telling you to be mute. What I'm telling you is filter every word once you're in a moment that you know can result in your lack of shalom. Because once you act and speak, you're now being judged on every action and word said. And those words and actions can get you either killed or judged to death.
If you get in trouble with the law, which happens a lot, what's the first advice a lawyer is going to tell you? Shut your mouth. This is why you have the right to remain silent. Mm-hmm. Because everything you say can and will be used against you. The more you talk, the more you put your foot in your mouth.
And you're held liable to.
Mishlei 28:17. Or is it 17:28? One of the two. How does the scripture say?
Just go to it.
Even a man that is a fool, even a fool, is perceived to be wise when he bites his tongue.
Yep, it's 17:28.
17:28. There you go.
Even a fool, when he holds his shalom, is counted as wise, and he that shuts his lips is regarded as a man of binah.
Hold his shalom. You hear this?
Stop talking. And again, this is why I say,
Oh man.
check your emotions, because that's what leads us in the moment to spur ourselves to an action that is now offendable. It is a judgeable action.
Come here.
He's falling in love with a female dog.
It's okay.
But we have to,
It's okay.
again, be very mindful of what we say. Because if you can read 10 for me, chapter 3 of 1 Peter.
For he that will love Chaim and see Tov Yamim, will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from the evil speech.
So if you're seeking for good days in life, again, refrain from talking evil speech. Or
Good boy.
refrain yourself from putting yourself in those situations that will lead you to speaking evil. Because you have to know yourself.
And his lips, that they speak no deceit.
No deceit. So again, peace, you need it to be a son or daughter of Yahuwah. Peace is what you need to see Yahusha. Peace is the byproduct of the things taught, shown, and demonstrated.
Amen.
Peace is something you need to seek eternal life. Peace is the reward that you get from keeping the law. And
Amen.
peace is also something you have to exercise to keep that eternal life we just spoke about. So, when I tell you, do you want to die or do you want to live? The answer starts with yes, because I'm seeking peace. With me, with those you have offended, those who have offended you, and most importantly, with the body. Read 11 for me, please.
Let him make teshuvah from evil and do tov. Let him seek shalom and pursue.
Seek and pursue. Again, it's active.
Seek and pursue.
Because you're not gonna keep it in one spot one day.
Once you seek it, you find it. Once you find
You
it,
want more of it.
you have to continue to follow it.
Because you're gonna want more. Because once you're at peace, you're gonna get so much more tribulation because the world's gonna want to rob you of that peace. Those that we call brothers and sisters are gonna do everything in their power not to see you be happy. Why? Because we are truly our own Satans. When David said, "Set up my table in the midst of my enemies," he wasn't talking about the Philistines. He was talking about other brews. David killed 10,000s of the enemies of Israel, but yet he couldn't stop his brothers and sisters. Think about that. This was a man who had a heart after the things of Yahuwah and is the gatekeeper in the Shamayim. And even he was like, "Yo, Yahuwah, I need help against my brothers and sisters." Think about that. And none of us are greater than David. So if he needed that help, how much more we need that help today and every day of our life. So when I tell you, be a peacemaker, when I tell you, be at peace, when I tell you, choose life, what I'm telling you is choose life. Choose something today that will give you the ultimate reward tomorrow. No one has promised that. No one has promised that. So do tov. Refuse to do evil. You notice a lot of these verses now are telling you in peace is good, but against peace is evil. Why? Because evil is the consequence of lack of tovness and the lack of peace. They go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly I mentioned earlier. I'm not saying that bad times won't happen to you despite you keeping peace. But what I'm telling you is You being at peace will make the bad times a whole lot more tolerable, a whole lot more manageable. And you won't lose your salvation in those bad times. Job, despite the trials and tribulations, was at peace. He was just a man. A told man, a righteous man in his day, but just a man. We gotta be better. Not just in our words, but in our actions. We have to apply what we say. Our actions and words have to be synonymous. They have to be. There's no other way of keeping this walk. That's why he says yes is yes and no is no. Because if you guys start making vows and getting witnesses and have to justify everything, you are someone who is then at that point habitual strife maker. You're a habitual oath breaker. You're a habitual Torahless man or woman. That's why you need all these things and have to make vows. But if you're a man whose words match your actions 24/7, why do you need to vow? Your yes is already a yes. You're as good as gold. Refined gold through the forge of fire, but gold all the same. But again, Romans chapter 5, verse 1. I want to make this as clear as water. 5:1.
Romans 5:1. Therefore, being justified by emunah, faith, we have shalom with Yahuwah through our Savior, Yahusha HaMashiach.
Being justified by our faith, we have peace with Yahusha. Being justified. That's all the justification you need in this world. That's it. You got any other justification that's not that? Of man. If you need any other justification that's not of Yahuwah or Yahusha, which is the same thing, it's of this world. Hence my little rant that I just went on. That's why your yes should be yes. That's why you should always be at peace and making peace. James, or Yaakov, chapter 3, verses 17 and 18. Three, 17 and 18.
Yaakov 3, 17 and 18. But the chokhmah,
The wisdom
that is from above is perfect, then full of shalom.
So the chokmah of above, the wisdom of above, is perfect and full of peace. So what understanding should we get from the one that provides the completeness of the law and the shalom of above, which we know is a shalom that supersedes all understanding?
This is where Yaakov was quoting Isaiah
Yes.
26 and 3. Gentle and ready to obey.
Gentle and ready to obey. Be submissive.
26 and 3.
Be submissive. Like the ox said earlier, listen to learn, not listen to refute. I understand we often tell women, oh, be submissive to your husband so that you can have more peace in the house. I'm just saying wholesale across the board. Everyone should be more submissive. Because if she's supposed to be your helpmate, let her help you. Stop being so stubborn.
Amen.
And if he is your head, listen to the leader. If he messes up, it's not your fault. The sin will go on him. So why do you worry if it's right or wrong? Why do you worry? No, you have no fault. Like insurance, nothing's gonna happen to you. You get all the benefits and none of the consequences of it. So what do you gain from not being submissive? What do you gain?
Strife.
Oh, sorry, what do you, besides strife and lack
Of shalom.
which I know some people, they need that. They need the drama.
Chaos kids.
What does that say about your character? What does that say about your report? You are not a peacemaker. You are not B'nai Yehuda.
Dang.
That's it.
Sheesh.
That's what it is. If you're not making or seeking shalom, you can't be. You have no business in the works of the Father. I'm not gonna go as far as say we can't call each other brothers and sisters because there's salvation. I have to allow the door to be open because we were once oath breakers, law breakers, people in Mitzrayim following Elohims that were not the Elohims of our forefathers. So I have to leave that door open for everybody. But if you in this walk and you have made teshuvah, you have done the Brit Halev, Brit Milah, crossed over, have participated in the Moeds of Yahuwah, and you are still doing the things of chisme or drama, my guy, you have your reward. You have your reward, and that's death. And I'm not saying it to be vindictive. I'm saying it because I want you to understand. Continue, my brother.
Full of rachamim and tov fruit, mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Sheesh.
No partiality, no hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
Good fruits and mercy. Who doesn't want good fruits and mercy? Who doesn't want to deal with someone who's not a hypocrite or someone who's not impartial?
Amen.
These are all things we say we want, but we do all the things that don't get us there. Don't plant an orange tree looking for apples. You're going to upset yourself from the beginning and even more at the end. Don't cause someone else to lose their shalom and then ask Yahuwah for shalom. It don't work that way. Don't ask for less tribulation and then give someone tribulation. You make yourself someone unworthy of the title B'nai Yahuwah. And again, taking it further, you are removing the covering as a wife, a low-tov wife, a bad wife does. You have to maintain your peace. You have to maintain your shalom.
All the time.
Amen.
In good and in bad season. Why? Because your life depends on it. Your life depends on it. It is a life or death matter. And I'm not even talking about the spiritual death. I'm talking about the real death. Many brothers and sisters that are not on this walk have been put down due to lack of peace. Look at Chicago. Look at Jacksonville, Florida. Look at Memphis. There's young kids killing each other because they can't maintain civility. The Bronx. All these high murder rate places, if they can maintain their peace, there'll be less kids my age and younger in tombstones right now. If you can maintain your peace, there'll be less babies being aborted. 6 out of 10 Black and Latino babies are being aborted this year. So if you're born a Black or Latino baby, you already have the disadvantage of 71% of the time not having a father in your house. And on top of that, you're already lucky you came out because 40% of the time is when you come out. You have a better chance of being aborted than you are being born if you're a Black or Latino child in America today. And you have a very low chance of, once you make it out, having a father in your life. All those are the consequences of lack of peacekeeping in communities and households. Plus some other influences, like not keeping Torah, for example. But that's a discussion for another day. But I just want to show you how far lack of peace takes you. Murder of children, murders of brothers and sisters, and the removal of the blessings given to us, promised by this book. That's how much your actions directly influence the body, in case you were wondering. That's why I say you can't keep this walk by yourself. We need a community. We need a standard. And we need to keep and apply ourselves to it. Not because Nando said it, but because that's what Yahuwah requires. Like I read it at the Yom Kippur service. Perfection is an expectation. not a suggestion. It's just like peace. It's an ordinance. Be perfect, for your Father in the heavens is perfect. Be imitators of me, for I am perfect. Be peacekeepers, because I am a peacekeeper. The language is the same. The verbiage is the same. I can only say it in so many languages. Why? Because it's supposed to be an elementary matter. But yet we struggle with milk and ask for meat. We all want to be teachers, but we suck at being students. We want to be wise, but don't know how to be one. We want to be husbands, but don't know how to treat a woman. We want to expand our tents, build foundations, but we suck using a hammer. And then we look at Yahuwah, oh, why me? Don't be so dumb.
Verse 18. Yes. And those that make shalom sow the fruit of tzedakah in shalom.
You want righteousness? Start with peace. That's the only way you're going to get it. The tree of righteousness can only be sowed with the seeds of shalom. I'm sorry to tell you this. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But someone has to tell you. And like I've said in a couple streams ago, if I have to be the one you call low toe, but you end up following the word, that is something I can live with. I will still sleep at night with the fan on medium. So, let's continue though. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. of 1 Corinthians. Corinthians Aleph.
For Eloah is not the author of confusion, but of shalom, as he is in all congregations of the Israelite set apart ones. 33.
Oh.
Am I not enunciating it?
No, enunciating.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that.
It's fast.
Okay. I'll try to slow down then.
Just repeat it.
No,
before
just
you-
No,
repeat
you're
it
good.
2 times.
Just repeat it. You're good.
Just repeat it 2 times.
Like you say, and then Amatia repeats it usually.
Okay. Again, you know how you avoid confusion? Peace. Why? I'm going to give you a perfect example. What just happened right now? I asked a question. I could have easily said, damn, guys, pay attention. Could have easily said that. No, you're not paying attention. But keeping in peace is exactly that. Exercising peace. I asked a question. What can I do to alleviate the confusion? What can I do to alleviate the misunderstanding? Choosing the non-shalom path would have caused strife. That's exactly the point we're trying to make. Application. It's little things. Clarity comes through peace. Because if we're fighting, there's no way shalom is being kept. Unless we're being civilized and well-mannered. You can still have debates and keep peace. It happened all the time among the apostles. So we're capable of it if we apply ourselves. The book of Proverbs.
Don't listen to the haters. I'm gonna go faster.
No, I'm waiting now. The book of Proverbs, 16:7.
Thank you, Nelly.
Mishlei 16, verse 7. When a man's halachot ways please Yahuwah, he makes even his enemies to be at shalom with him.
Yahuwah,
Go ahead.
Yahuwah, how come everyone hates me?
Because your ways don't please Yahuwah. Simple as that.
Shlomo kept Israel in peace his entire reign as king
because his ways pleased Yahuwah.
Don't ask for things when you're not doing your part of the bargain. That's foolishness. That is lacking understanding. Again, don't plant an orange tree looking for apples. Don't ask for tzedakah if you're not planting with the seeds of shalom, as we just finished reading. Don't ask for good relationships if your ways are not pleasing before Yahuwah. And we know what he likes. Torah. He loves that. You know what he hates? Lack of Torah. Why? Because lack of Torah causes division. Lack of Torah commits you to the ways of the evil one. Lack of Torah causes people to walk away from Yahuwah. So, if you find yourself in, let's say, perverse ways or in difficult waters, self-evaluate, pause, meditate, reflect, see where you're going wrong, correct that. That's what you have to do. It's not a science. It's not an equation you have to figure out. It's all about application. Peace, as we read earlier, you have to seek it and follow it. What were you going to say, my brother? I apologize.
I forgot. No worries.
Same book, chapter 12, verse 20.
Say it again.
12:20. Of Proverbs, same book.
Mishle 12:20. Deceit is in the lev, heart, of them that imagine evil. But the counselors of shalom have simcha, joy.
Some of these things are self-evident. Like, we ought to be teachers at this point. But why we're not yet there is because of this. Less and less and less of our people want to be counselors of shalom. Less and less and less of our people are quicker to just be judges. And the funny thing is, to be a counselor of shalom, it's the same to be a judge. Because if you're a counselor of shalom, you're impartial.
It's always going to be easier to give a counsel of
Condemnation.
let it go. You know, just leave, or leave that person, or
Break off.
break it off, or don't even deal with that person anymore. It's always going to be easier. That's the easier way to go out. It's always hard
To build.
to
repair.
make the sacrifice of repair, to humble yourself in shalom and recognize a wrongdoing. So that's harder. Why is it harder? Because that is what's tov.
And it needs peace.
What is tov? Sacrifice. A sacrifice is always gonna be hard. What, you thought it was easy to put the knife to a bull's neck? You think that was easy? Bro, I start crying when I gotta kill the Pesach lamb. Imagine killing 16 animals in one day.
Every week.
You know what I'm saying?
You just get used to it.
You get numb to it, of course, obviously, but
It's the practices.
the physical strength as well. It's not easy to do these
But
things.
keeping peace and doing the right judgments is easy, like killing 16 bulls. Eventually, if you do it enough, it becomes habitual.
Amen.
So if your life is a way of tovness, it's because you habitually do tov. But if wickedness and destruction follow you everywhere, that is your habitual habit.
Say that again.
If wickedness and destruction follow you, that is your habitual habit. That is your life. That's why when people say, oh, judge not, yet you be judged, I agree. But if I make an observation, that's not a judgment. I know the credentials of a judge. I know what is necessary to be someone that has the responsibility to tell someone the difference between life and death. That's why I don't take it lightly. But too many, like the brother said, go the route of judgment, and they're not even judges. They're not peacemakers. Why are you looking to them to be judges? That doesn't make any sense. You don't go to a mechanic to work on your heart, and you don't go to a neurosurgeon to change your engine.
Speak for yourself.
Unless he's boy, that's told. But I have yet to come across one. I'm sure they exist. But these are the things that we have to stop doing. We seek counselship from those that appease the ear. We seek shalom from people that don't make their lives the ways of shalom. They just appease the heart that's full of deceit.
You know what we don't pay attention to enough? To making sure that we have a tov report among people. If we lack a tov report among people, we're lacking in this walk. Mm-hmm. And that's just the first part. Because you're supposed to have a tov report among all men. Let's just start with Israel. Can Israel say, yo man, this brother's tov? Can Israel actually say, this brother's tov? If not, you gotta start moving towards that. If they can, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, be on your P's and Q's to maintain that tov report.
And expand it.
We all suffer. We all have shortcomings. We all fall short. Yes. But is there a tov report of you making teshuvah, of you recognizing you're wrong? Or is there a report of you justifying your wicked actions? Which one is you? Let's continue to build with love. Let's continue to follow each other in shalom. Let's rebuild the broken bridges. Let's repair the broken relationships. Let's rebuild the lack of ahava. Because once you lack ahava, I don't care what you have. You're like a cymbal clinging and making noise. Mm-hmm. You remember how Charlie Brown's mother spoke? Anybody remember? That's how Charlie Brown's mother, all the adults on Charlie Brown, that's how they spoke. Straight gibberish. That's what I hear when I know you lack love. I'm not trying to hear absolutely anything. No prophecy, no Torah, no nothing. You lack love? It's boring to me. It's like my Ak always says, don't tell me you love me. Show me.
Well said. The book of Romans, 14, verse 19.
Jordan says, such a tov message, my ox. Wish I could be there in person, but looking forward to next Shabbat, Yahuwah willing.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Well said. Romans 14, verse 19. Let us therefore follow after the things that make for shalom. And
let us therefore follow.
That's after you already found.
Thank you. That's the point that people miss. Because you can't follow something you don't know anything about. So you found Yahusha. There you go. You found peace. Congratulations. Now follow that.
Yep.
Follow that. People miss that. Because one, they don't know how to read, but two, they don't actually break things down. It's an active day-to-day process. We read over that like a verse of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Because I know this comes up. This was my verse of the day 4 days ago. And I know anyone who got this verse on the app, oh, that's a Tov scripture. And they didn't think about it. All right, over their head. They went back to listen to Chief Keef. Keep reading.
A lot of you see, this is the thing. A lot of people hear me speak on shalom, and they just don't understand how crucial shalom is. It is crucial to this walk. If it ain't shalom, it ain't about nothing. Let's get to that.
Continue, my brother.
Next precept. And things with which we may edify one another.
Edification. Something I keep repeating. Building up. We all want better for ourselves. Great. You know how you get that? Build someone else up. Know why? Let's look at the model Yahusha gave us.
Mm-hmm.
You want a better household? Work on your wife. Work on your children. Because their splendor will be added to you. Because you know how you teach patience? You have to show it. You know how you teach ahava? You have to show it. You know how you teach shalom? You have to show it. So in your teaching, you are exercising. You are demonstrating. You are one the same as Yahusha. And now your wife can see you as her covering. Now your children can see you as the Adonai of your kingdom. Because you are demonstrating all the things they read in these books. They cannot tell you, oh, you're not my Yahusha. Books, you are. And you are demonstrating that. It truly is. Pages come flesh. Words become manifested.
Right.
That's how you do it. But you have to follow it. It's not a passive, one day you just wake up with shalom. That's not how this is going to work. It's not just you wake up one day and like, you know what, babe? Call me Adonai. That's not how that works. You have to be worthy of your salvation. Yahusha paid the ultimate price. Do not make that common. Do not make that oh, Yahusha got me. He don't got you. He don't got you. If you acting up, he'll drop you like a bad wife. He has plenty of others. Why? Because we're unworthy of the sacrifice.
Amen.
Continue. Please.
Where you at?
I believe you have one more precept left. I'm not mistaken.
What
19.
verse was it?
14, 19?
Yeah.
You finished it.
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay, my apologies then.
Yeah, building.
My apologies. 2 Corinthians 13:11.
Finally, Israelite brothers,
So we're talking about you now.
farewell.
Deuces.
Be perfect.
That's it. That's it.
But no one could be perfect. Huh?
Huh?
13:11.
2 Corinthians 13. No, I don't know. I just read different here. That's all.
Be perfect. That's it. Continue.
2 Corinthians
13:11.
13:11.
Yeah.
Finally, Israelite brothers, be perfect. Be of Tov comfort. Be echad, one. Live in shalom. And the Eloah of Ahava and shalom shall be with you.
So be perfect.
Yeah.
What's next then?
Be Tov comfort.
Be of Tov comfort, good comfort. And what's the next thing?
Be echad.
Be one. Live in shalom. Then,
And only then. When?
then.
When?
That guy then.
When? Then. And only then is because of when.
You will have the ahava and
Of-
shalom of Yahuwah.
Amen. Because he is the creator of love and peace. And when the creator of love and peace finds tov in you,
You are his son.
then shall he be with you. Other than that,
But wait, why is he with you though? Because in his presence, you are perfect. Therefore, there's no sin. That's how David, despite his shortcoming, no sin was imputed to him. Why? David always sought out being in God, being in peace, and perfect love.
and the aloha of commandments and of peace shall be with you. Ahava. Commandments. Why? Because the love of Yahuwah is the obedience of commandments. You want to be in shalom? You want to be in love? Follow Yahuwah. Da'at, bina, vechochma. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Of what? Of his precepts.
1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7.
Kefa Aleph 5, 6 and 7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty Yod le Yahuwah, hand of Yahuwah, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your anxieties upon him, for he cares for you.
When you cast your anxiety on top of Yahuwah, and you, as we start off, being humble, he can give you peace. Because when you submit, like we said earlier, you have a teachable ruach, and you're more willing to do the things of Torah. And in your obedience that comes out of your humbleness, you will be perfect. So he can be with you. He can work with you. You are someone worthy of his time and covering. And he is quick to save those that call upon his name.
Amen.
Because he does not lack how some men count lack. So, let's tie that in with the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 2. We're going to link these two verses we're going to read now together.
Jude 2.
Jude 1, verse 2.
There's only one chapter in Jude.
There you go.
Rachamim to you and shalom
Wait. Mercy and peace to you
and ahava
and love.
be multiplied.
So, the four horsemen of Torah: humbleness, peace, love, shalom. Be perfect. That's how you do it. Those are the four components. Class dismissed. Like, these are the moments that I tell you, Yahuwah is, this is why I say Yahuwah is so tall, amongst the other multiple of reasons. He does not talk to us in parables. He does not give us stories as the Greeks give their people on their gods and their beliefs. Not like the Egyptians that tell you have to die to see the understanding of the next life. Yahuwah talks to you plain as day while you can read and hear and see with your own eyes and ears and mouth. Why? Because he wants you to understand where he's coming from so you can come to him.
Right.
He wants to be with you. He wants to spend time with you, both in this life that we currently live and the life to come, if we keep up. It's a love based on works. Yahuwah loves you because he's put in the work. He wants you to love him the same way. We are his bride. We are supposed to respect him. How do you demonstrate respect? Do what your master says. How can you say you respect me but don't become obedient to what I'm telling you? That is a lack of respect. And that applies to us. Men, wives, respect your husbands. Men, love your wives. Amen.
That's it.
There's no, don't, again, it is as simple as we want to make it. We make it complicated. We bring lack of shalom. Not because you're cool. That's you. That's you. And the faster you can realize that, the faster you can address your emotions, the faster you can check yourself, and the faster you can start getting back on the path of righteousness.
Right.
And at the end of that nice little blue path, complete perfection. And hopefully a rock with your name on it and the name that can't be pronounced.
Amen.
That's it. That's it. I say it like that because everyone likes to make Torah this grand mystery. Like you got to be a black belt in Torah to understand these things. No. We're not the Sadducees. We're not the Pharisees. I'm not asking you to know Torah, chapter and verse at the back of your hand in Hebrew, Spanish, and English. I'm asking you to keep elementary matters. If you want to go more than that, amen. More power to you. But what I've been teaching and what I'm going to continue teaching are elementary things. So don't be boastful that you got the elementary stuff right. You ought to have been doing that already. Just be thankful who gave you the time to get there.
Right.
Indeed.
And the piece of the day to practice, which is a whole nother thing. I'll talk about that in another teaching. Ephesians 4:3. EPH. Ephesians what? 4:3. Wait, hold on. EPHESIANS. 4:3. Ready?
Ephesians 4:3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Being eager to guard the unity of the Ruach in the bond of Shalom.
The unity of the Ruach, the unity of the Spirit in Shalom. Don't tell me you are keeping Torah and you're not keeping Shalom.
Man.
You cannot do one without the other.
Man.
You just can't. No matter how you want to finagle your way through it, if you got beef with one person, but because you don't interact with that person no more, it's okay because you're keeping Torah. No, that's not how that works. It's not. Especially if they're part of the same body. They may be different levels. You may be higher in the kingdom, maybe lower in the kingdom, but you still got to keep peace with them. Mandatory. And if all possible, forget about the believers. Even with the non-believers, you got to keep peace with them, if possible. Your report matters. Your ability to keep peace is essential. That's why I made a strong emphasis on the be courageous and be strong teaching. Because I know everything I'm telling you, you need to have the strength of your conviction. You need to be strong in your ways. You have to have the chutzpah, for lack of better words, to know that you are not going to be greeted with open arms everywhere you go. But despite that, you got to be able to take the licks and keep going while keeping peace, while keeping perfect love, while not leaning on your understanding, but the understanding that comes from above. You got to tap into that. That's why you need to keep that strength. And that's why I made a big deal about it. And that's why earlier, if you go back in the teaching before that, I made a big deal about being a neighbor. Because being the neighbor that you want to see is the same as being the neighbor you ought to be. Again, the four horsemen, we're establishing what you have to be. At all components. Peace, love, tov courage. Now on top of that, understanding, unity. And on top of that, keeping the works. Beautiful little pyramid. I'll probably put it on a t-shirt one of these days. But that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. It's not a wonder to us. Yahuwah is truly a man that speaks plainly. And that's why he's the only man we can call Tov. Because he don't have to convince you of anything. If you do this, these are the results. It's pretty cool. Test them. Test them. Make your life of peace and see all the blessings you will get. Don't take my word for it. Apply yourself. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 15. 15? 5:15, yes, sir.
1 Thessalonians 5:15. See that none repay evil for evil to any man, but always follow that which is tov, both among yourselves and to all men.
Why did I use this verse? Because this is just another rendition of the verse we read earlier about having peace for everybody. This is another remix to that same thing. Don't say, oh, I forgive you, but then stamp that person with their sin forever. Don't rail for rail. Don't try to make that person miserable because you're miserable. Why? Because you're not making peace. You're not seeking Tov. You're not a child of Yahuwah. You are a child of the evil one at that point. But there is hope. There is time for you to make teshuvah and apply yourself with the principles we're building together as a community, as a standard. That's what you have. That's the teshuvah. That's the grace that church likes to talk about so much. Time. Because you have done goofed. Now you have time to change your ways. So please, I beg you, do that. Not for my sake, but for yours. Because I will die. Hopefully, I die in righteousness. And same to you. And that the righteousness is passed down to your children, and to their children, and to their children. And then when Yahushua comes, we're all in righteousness when judged. The book of Proverbs, 17:1.
Mishle 17:1. Better is a dry morsel of lechem, bread, with rest, than a bayit full of offerings with strife.
It is better you have a dry piece of bread, but you have peace. Then, oh, look, I told my house, I got all my brothers and sisters, but y'all beefing.
Facts.
What are you keeping? What are you really showing? This is why I don't get mad at lone wolves sometimes. Because they'd rather be the person eating the dry bread by themselves. Then, oh, Shabbat, you know, person A and person B, you know, man, Bible study, we're looking too tove, and now I gotta go act like nothing's going on. Or, oh, I got beef with person Z and Y, and now I gotta put a face. You're deceiving yourself. You're deceiving the other people, and you're presenting yourself before Yahuwah as a low tov offering.
Amen.
You are making Yahushua's sacrifice not worth anything. Because you were given the chance today to live. Why are you doing the things of the evil one? Why? Is it not better for you to go and plant the seeds of shalom and reap the fruits of it versus the embers of said action? Why are you seeking counsel from people that are not peacemakers? Why are you seeking attention from people that don't make peace a way of their life?
Amen.
Why are you dedicating yourself to something that won't bear fruits that are counted as tov before Yahuwah? Why? Why upset yourself? Why cause yourself to go astray? Why cause your children to go astray? And why present stumbling blocks for your brothers and sisters in the faith? It is unfair to all people that you are connected with. And most importantly, you. Because again, your actions are individual. Consequences are shared, but your actions are individual. The last verse for this lecture, we're going to read Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8.
Ecclesiastes
3, 1 through 8. No. And I want to, before we read it, I want to say something like this. I've used this chapter a lot of times with a lot of different people. Different situations. But I've used it a lot. These first 8, this whole chapter is good. But the first 8 verses speak to a truth that we tend to forget. And it's going to talk about that truth. And that's why I like the book of Ecclesiastes. I would go as far as say it's probably one of, if not my favorite book in the Old Testament. Because it speaks to the ugliness of life. It speaks to the undesirable moments that we will encounter. And it doesn't shy away from the fact that even in these moments, you have a responsibility. Be perfect. And I love that. Because too many people focus on the Psalms and in the Proverbs. And oh, look how Tov Yahuwah is. But they forget that Yahuwah is the master of evil as well. And he will put evil in your life. He will do it to you. Why? Because he needs to see how you perform under fire. You cannot make purity without trial. Like Amathia said last Shabbat, which was a great breakdown. How do you get 24 karat gold? You gotta burn it. You gotta refine it through fire. It is not perfect until it goes through the trial of fire. That's all it is. It's there is nothing he does that is in secret. And this is why I say look to nature. Look to the ways of the world. And look at the ways that he lays out. And see what is profitable to you. What is most profitable to you. I'm willing to bet Torah is always going to be the winner in that competition. It will always be most tough. Why? Because he knows what you need. He got the medicine. You sick. You need this medicine. And the more you delay, the more you put off, the more you say, oh, I got it, doing my own thing, the more you find yourself in trouble, in hard times, lacking, and not being able to deal with things. But again, let's say, Nando, you overstepping. Okay, let's now read this first 8 verses of Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
Koheleth, chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the Shemayim.
Okay, everything has a season and a purpose under the sun. Everything has a season and a purpose. So there is no question of why. There is a purpose behind what happened.
And you might never know it.
No, you will. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You will. And well, keep reading.
A time to be born and a time to die.
There you go. That's the reason.
A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which was planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Pause.
Thou shalt not murder.
Exactly. But there's a time to kill. We've been destroyed. What are we going to do? You've been broken down. Now go rebuild it. That's not saying go and be a coward and run away and leave what's been put in rubbles. That's not what that's saying. We are cowards. We're cowards.
No, ja.
So why do we seek
No.
strength when we have not shown ourselves worthy of the strength Yahuwah provides us? Stop being a coward. Stop being someone that does not look to be in trials like James tells us to be? Why? Continue, my brother. I'm sorry.
A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get up and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate.
So, is hating someone a sin?
No.
No. Is loving someone a sin? No. When you make it the way of your life, it is. All these things are laying out a perfect foundation. There is a time for all the things that we love and all the things that we hate. I'm not telling you it's not going to happen. I'm telling you it is going to happen. Be prepared. Be at peace. Be strong. Have perfect love. Because life is going to suck sometimes. Life is not going to give you what you want. Life is going to take away from you what you most love. And he's going to do it and beat you down further. On purpose. Why? Because that's the way of Yahuwah. That is the Elohim we serve. Why? Because without these moments, how are you supposed to exercise what he wants us to exercise? It's not going to happen when everything's sunshines and rainbows.
Amen.
It's not going to happen if we never get put to a trial that makes us apply what we have learned. I can say shalom, shalom. And as Jeremiah says, there was no shalom in the land. But yet every brother tells himself, shalom, shalom. What shalom are you speaking of? What has happened to you for you to actually keep it? That was the people in the time of Jeremiah, that was their greatest sin. They deceived themselves thinking they were in peace. And every brother had hate for each other. Are we any different? No. Unfortunately. We have not learned from the sacrifices and sins of our forefathers. Because we would rather hate than love. We would rather be distant than come together. We would rather, I'll keep Torah by myself over here, than try to make amends and make things work together. Why? Because we don't want to be saved. Our actions show that. We say we want to be saved. We say we believe. But our actions tell a totally different story. This is why I say, to those who tell me, Fernando, I'm speaking personally, as Paul would say, in my opinion, if you tell me, oh, you need to understand, what you're just really telling me is, oh, I'm in sin and I want to be there. Now see me in my sin. Okay, cool. Die on that hill. Die on that hill. But don't expect me to die with you. I will leave you there. Because there's people who want to live. There's people who are trying to do the things of Torah. And my energy is not enough to help you who wants to die on that hill and the person who wants to keep building forward. I'm sorry. I have a newfound respect for don't cast your marbles to swine. Pearls, the swine. I have a newfound respect for that. And now I understand. It's not about the heathens. It's about the brothers and sisters that are leeches. They're leeches. That's what they are. They're leeches. They want to rob you of your shalom. They want to rob you of your love, your hope, your strength, your conviction. And then when you're all done, dried up, they toss you away. They toss you away.
My shalom is on Shabbat, 24/7. Not for sale. Oh, yeah.
So, don't ask me why this happened. There's a reason for it. Because it was supposed to happen. Don't ask me, oh, how come it was meant to be for you in that season. How you deal with it, it's laid out. You can build or destroy. You can hate or love. You can move forward or stay there and rebuild. You can rejoice or you can mourn. You can give birth or kill. It's all on you, big homie. It's all on you. But don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me when I point out what you did after the fact. I'm not your judge. I'm not. I'm barely your teacher. But I will point out things to you guys. Why? Because unfortunately, growth doesn't come in good times. Growth doesn't come with love. Growth comes with trials and tribulations. So hence why I've made the statement. If I have to be low tov in your eyes because I'm telling you the truth, so be it. But if you come out better at the end, we all win. We all win. And I will embrace you the same way the prodigal son was embraced by his father when he came back. I'll kill the fatted calf on your behalf. And I won't even bring up your past. I'll just tell you thank you for coming back. Thank you for finally accepting that you are an Israelite. That you are B'nai Yehusha. And you have to act right. Thank you. It's not a boastful moment. It's a moment to rejoice. That's all it is. That's truly all it is. Continue, my brother.
Verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of shalom.
And I'm going to end with that. There is time for war. There is. We are in that time. Anyone who knows us, we're in that time. But that time will come to an end. And I believe it has already come to an end, truthfully speaking to you. And this is, again, me depositing. We are not entering an era of peace. It is now my job, and this is why I have taken up the mantle of responsibility in making sure this community rebuilds the right way on those cornerstones. I'm not doing it so that I can look righteous. I can care less for your opinion. What I'm doing it for is so that Yahuwah can count us all as people of Tov courage, Shalom, and Ahava. And we can bring back respect to the name Ahava and Torah. Because you need the love. You need love, you need the love. If you find yourself against me, let it speak to me plainly and clearly. If you find yourself for me, please, let's keep the will of the Father. Either which way, let's do the right thing. So I know who I can count with and not. It's not a suggestion. I'm telling you now. The time for babying is over. I don't want to half-step you. Passover and the new year will fast approach us. I am not going into the new year of Yahuwah with old wine and old wine sacks. I'm just not. A cleansing will happen. I have that much for you. This winter is going to kill off a lot of plants. And I'm excited. I'm really excited. Because I only want to work with the people who want to work in my Father's field. I want to work with those who are seeking out the things of kings and priests. I don't want nothing to do with people who are just free loafers along for the ride. I don't want to be associated with a person that gets invited to the wedding supper's lamb in the wrong garments, which many of our brothers and sisters are that guy. Hate to say that. So,
Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13 and 14.
read it for me. That's also a good point. I cut that off because I didn't want to go that hard.
14 and
13.
13 and 14.
put it in the chat as well.
No, you have to at this point.
Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13 and 14.
Go ahead, brother.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim, keep his mitzvot. For this is the entire duty of all mankind. I don't know my purpose in life. I don't know what I want to do. keep the commandments. This is your duty. That's it. For anybody that was confused about what they're supposed to do, this is the conclusion of the whole matter. For Elohim shall bring every work into mishpat, into judgment. All your works will be coming into judgment. It's not one thing that will not come into judgment. With every secret thing, whether tov or whether evil, good or evil, secret or not, it'll be judged. So what? Keep the commandments.
Comments, questions, concerns, feedback?
Besides a brother in the chat, Philip John, who's saying Shabbat Shalom Yasharal.
Hey, amen. Likewise, Shabbat Shalom to that brother. People in the crowd? Alright, besides the list. No? Okay. Amen. Yahuwah is told all the time. In good and in bad. With that, I just want to say then, Shabbat Shalom. It is still Shabbat until tomorrow, Sunday morning. So practice on keeping peace. Practice on being of Ahava. Practice being of Tov courage. Shabbat was given to you. The Eastern Gate is open. Go. Communicate with your Father after you have exercised these things. And let Him know that you make teshuvah for your misgivings of the past and that today you're trying to start anew. You should have been doing that since Yom Kippur, but I understand. Start today. And continue to do it. Make it a habitual practice to do the things of Yahuwah. It'll make life so much easier. Please. Please. If not for your sake, for the sake of others.
Let us end the service with some prayers. We're going to do the refuah, the healing of a soul, because in Israel we have many of those that are physically sick, mentally sick, spiritually sick, and everything that encompasses sickness and ailments.
Facts.
Everybody rise and face the next.
Yes.
Refaenu Yahuwah v'nei Rafe, Hoshienu v'nei Vasha, Ki tahilatenu ata, ve'ahava, ve'ha'ale refuah selema, lehol tach aulenu, ulhol makuvenu, ulhol makutenu, ki el melech rofe, ne'ema re'rahamanata, Baruch atah Yahuwah, rofe holeyamo, Israel, b'shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. Heal us, Yahuwah, and we shall be saved. I'm sorry. Heal us, Yahuwah, and we shall be healed. Save us, and we shall be saved.
For you are our praise, and bring complete recovery for all our ailments, for all our pains, and all our diseases, because you are the healing King, who is faithful and merciful. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, who heals the sick of your people Israel, in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen.
And let me do the Aaronic benediction.
This face each other. You don't have to face each other.
Birchat HaKohanim. Yivarechecha Yahuwah ve'yishmerecha. Yair Yahuwah panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Yahuwah panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. B'shem Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, the Prince of Peace. Amen. Amen.
Prince of Peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.